This is the story of retired fisherman Richard Souter, recorded in 1988. I left school in 1926, the year of the general strike. I was 15 years old, and I went to sea on a fishing boat, a Fifie called the Orcadia. She was only a year old. The owners were partners, but they split up, and the boat was renamed the Swiftwing 2, and with a registration BCK 82. She was a wooden boat, 54 feet long, and powered with an 83 horsepower Kelvin petrol paraffin engine. My first job was cook. You had to start at the foot of the ladder when you went to sea, and you bed as cook for 4 years. They didn't let you up on deck till you kent something about the work there, and you had to learn the secrets of deck work in your spare time. There was nae instant deckies then as there are now. You was taught by your folk afore you went awa that you had to pay attention, but usually there was somebody on the boat that was interested in helping you, but nae I-wise. My stepmother, wha could mak duff, showed me how to do it. I took a duff that I had made myself down to the boat when I first went to sea. I must have picked up the knack recht, as it was a recht good duff. The crew was aye crying out for duffs. Usually it was very simple food we made, as we didn't have the facilities for fancy stuff. Later, when we was in drifters, the cooking facilities were much better, and that allowed you to try your hand a bit more. When the boats was lying alongside in the harbour, you used to try your hand at things, and there was a bit of competition between the cooks. In the morning, the cooks I looked out to see if I was up first. You can't be the reek, as all the drifters burnt coal in their stoves. As a cook, when you had a minute, you had to coil the ropes. That was the cook's job in buckie boats. And when you was discharging the herring, you had to guide the basket ashore with a guy rope, and saying you had to pull the basket back for the boys to fill up again. You was aye busy doing this or doing that. You was aye cooking or coiling or minding the guy ropes for the herring. When we started work, we was 20 weeks at the fishing. I was in a half share and had £30. That was supposed to be a good average wage, even after we went into the drifters. Most first year cooks must have gotten 20. You had to be in a good boat to get more. Some boats weren't doing well at all, and they couldn't pay out at all. On our first trip we went to Malig first, but got catched up with a strike and got a water storing away for we fished for a while. We came through the Firth to fish off Week and Stronsey before coming home about halfway through the summer to change our nets. After that we went to the Isle of Man for maybe another 10 weeks to make our fishing 20 weeks altogether. I thought £30 for that was not bad. Then we had a long weekend that meant you was shifting your nets, taking a board gear or maybe barking nets, before going awa again on the Monday. The buckie men never worked or went to sea on a Sunday. Things have changed a lot now. Then near everybody in the fishing community went to kirk or Sunday school. The kirk were aye filled. The fisherman's work was aye finished before the Sabbath. In Yarmouth things could be difficult. There was so much to do at the weekends that sometimes you had to work over midnight on a Saturday. Even if we only worked on till 8 o'clock on the Sunday morning, some would look on you as sinners. Sunday was meant to be a day of rest. The fishermen looked after their boats, scrubbing their bottoms and painting them between the fishing. Even late on before they went down to Yarmouth. A scrubbed bottom meant a faster boat and less fuel consumption. Mony wintered their boats in Buckie instead of going to sea in the coolest weather. The men were awful particular about who they tied their boats up. In the old boats, we never really washed out our clays when we was awa. The stokers and drivers, now, they had to do something about it, working with coal and the like. Most folk just had a barked canvas buggy and sent home their underwear for washing. The drifters with their hot water offered more chances of washing clays, but some folk were more particular than others. I canna mind anybody with a disease that came for lack of washing. Maybe we was real washed by the water that came over your head. I mind when I first went in a drifter in April 1927. We went to Ayr, where we bunkered, afore going to Dunmore in the South Ireland, and then we went on to Kinsale to fish for a week or two. After that we went to Killybeg and we did our act there. We went back to Ayr to bunker up again, afore steaming north to fish the Stronsay water, and we finished up in the Isle of Man. The other thing I mind was the calf sock that we had for a bed, and the horse and cart that came round to collect our gear afore we went to the sea.